only way for you to figure out what, this core purpose is if there's absolutely no inputs, pure silence, and it's only outputs. It's from the inside going out. This is why I used to say this, right? And I used to even say that this was my best advice ever. And I was saying that this was my best advice ever before I even knew this, right? What was it? My suggestion was that you spend a few hours and you just sit there on a chair in your room with all the screens turned off, and you just sit and stare at your wall. No input. How can you do that when you're addicted to porn? There's 72 guys in this call for guys who are on self-improvement. Guarantee 70 won't do this today. Guarantee it. Because this is fucking hard to do. Just sit there and stare at your wall and let your own brain generate the thoughts. Let your own heart generate the desires. Let your own soul generate it outwards. Not from the things that you see in the external environments, not from the other girl you see in the gym, not from the influencers who put it on you, and Tate says you should do this, and I say you should live life like this, but rather from the inside. So here's some interesting things that I realized recently. The fat guy who wants another slice of cake, because let's say this desire is going into him, isn't actually so different from the entrepreneur or businessman who needs even more money. If they're relentlessly chasing this desire, relentlessly thinking that this thing is going to give them fulfillment and happiness and joy and satisfaction and freedom, they're not actually that different. The guy who's 30% body fat is not different from the entrepreneur who sleeps 5 to 6 hours a night. They're not actually that different. They both suffer from the disease of desire. Fuck. How the fuck do you spell desire, bro? Desire. It's the exact same thing, but this is the thing, right? This one will get you laid. This one will get broken women into you. This one will get you likes on Instagram. This one will get you views on YouTube. So you're going to do it, right? Do it. Go sacrifice years of your life for this. It won't change anything. Having experienced it myself, I'll tell you, this desire doesn't actually change anything. Now, the first, I will just say quickly, like exactly how I would do this. I've gave a guide on this before. This, I'll link it later, but like, let me just, before you get the wrong idea. I believe money can be used as a good tool, but it is very dangerous. And so if I was just going to give you some very quick advice, just so you know it's in your mind, I would say anywhere from, like, let's say, especially let's say the first 0 to maybe about 2K, 100% positive, absolutely do it. This will absolutely change your life. It might even change your families. If, for example, your family can barely afford like these expenses right now, and you're able to give them literally just like $500 a month, that will literally mean that your dad's no longer sleep deprived. That will mean that your mother might not need to work the other job or, have overtime. So this is genuinely like this is what I call a 0 to 1 life improvement, where it will genuinely change your life. The first like 2K to about 10K. This is like, okay, your life is getting good. You were already on like 1. Now you're going from 1 to, let's say, like 3. So your life has improved quite heavily there as well. Okay, you've got like pretty much, you can now, at about 10K, you can afford to live in reasonably any country. Let's say obviously somewhere, maybe not Switzerland, maybe not like some big cities like Dubai or something, right? But reasonably any place, any like reasonable house, apartment, you can afford it. You can give your parents now like 2K, which means you can probably essentially retire them. Like, whose parents here make less than, like, let's say 4K? You'd be able to give that to them and still have 6K left over for yourself, right? So this is absolutely, again, still life-changing. 10K to 100K a month, per month, by the way. Nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. Coming firsthand, I'm telling you this, and wise people told me this, but I didn't really listen to them. Absolutely nothing changes apart from your desire